It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Now for my favorite part of the show, wherein, I guess, what's in Tim's background. I'm going to say you've got a beautiful fantasy thing going. It's for New Year's Eve, but in Times Square, but instead of the ball dropping, it's Luigi Mangione in a noose, and he drops at the stroke of midnight and meets his maker. Does that sound like what you've got in your background today, Tim? No, I didn't think so.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm in the process of changing it because I don't like the one I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On the fly. That's fine.
On the fly. I think.
What did you have? What did you have?
It just said happy 2025, and it's just because it is the new year. And
that's rather prosaic for you, although it's.
It just seemed kind of I don't know, just kind of trite and
sure. Well, at least because I'm going to be writing my checks, say in 2024, all the way through March. Does anybody write checks?
It is a celebration. It is a celebration of the new year. But since I am in Northwest Indiana, there's only one background I could have,
and that would be
the pierogi drop.
Oh, there. Oh, are you serious? Okay, so that's close. That's close.
Yeah, very
to
close,
Luigi Mangione.
It's here in the WJOB country. We every New Year's Eve we drop a giant pierogi at the stroke of midnight.
And is that shown on Channel 7? I think it might be.
Yeah, it's one of the. They have New Year's Eves all around the Chicagoland area, and it's definitely one of the top four. I think it should be the top one. I mean. There's nothing bigger, all the other New Year's Eve celebrations. It's just newscasters getting drunk. You get to watch, all the local celebrities getting faced.
Yeah, a few years ago, my former station, Channel 5, called it like a Chi-Town New Year's celebration, and that made everybody cringe because only out-of-towners would call it Chi-Town. Yeah, so, but. Whatever.
Chirac there for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah. Well, that made some sense. And of course, Chris is putting up a picture of Mark Giangreco and Janet Davies in one of their, I think they did that for about 20 years. And
didn't make it home that night, it looks like in this picture.
That was, and everybody misses them. And then, of course, I actually saw Cheryl Scott dancing, doing quite a number on New Year's Eve. And she did that for several years, but I don't even know that. I confess, I think I've been asleep by midnight the last couple of years, and I haven't watched anything, so I've been remiss. But in any event, this is like our we're going to have the top 10 stories of 2024, but although it would be nice for 2025. Do you have anybody in the Deadpool for 2025? Who will go? Who will you be surprised was still alive when you find out?
Actually, I think they kind of made a big deal about Dick Van Dyke's 99th, so that indicates to me that they're, and then of course the obvious one. And Mike, we're taping this early, so he might.
I know. Ding, 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 ding.
He might not even
Jimmy
make
Carter,
it.
Right?
Yeah, he might not even make it to January 1st. So.
Oh man! Well, and I love the fact that there was a story that that somehow it got twisted that he had turned down the image. Now, is that Jimmy Carter or Dick Van Dyke right now? Oh, I see the picture.
Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke he's still vital. No. He's still dancing. He did a music video.
He can't dance. Yeah, he can't hop over an ottoman, like he used to, but he could still dance. But there was
what it reminds me of. The Dick Van Dyke. He did a Coldplay video. Coldplay did a new video with Dick Van Dyke, And what it reminds me of is when David Bowie did the duet with Bing Crosby. And I'm sure when
on
they
Bing
came,
Crosby's last
yeah,
Christmas special, they
and
did the little drummer boy, right?
I'm sure they had to cut out the part when Bing opened the door and said, "Who are you?" And
Right.
I'm pretty sure the same thing happened was, no, you're going to do a
Yeah.
video with Coldplay.
Oh, oh, there you go. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Jimmy Carter supposedly it turned down coming to the inauguration. No, he's in hospice. Okay, he's not. He didn't turn it down.
I think his handlers don't even want to tell him that Kamala didn't win. I think they're gonna
Oh, that would be.
I think they're gonna let him go in peace,
That
thinking
would
that
be
yeah,
difficult.
you voted for Kamala, and guess what, Jimmy? She won by one vote. How about that, huh?
Let him go off. He deserves that.
Yeah,
Anti-Semitic
why not?
bastard. Anyway, so we got to go to these top 10 stories. And Chris has decided what they are, and I trust his judgment. And let's go with this would be number 10, Chris. Are we supposed to guess what they are, or are you just going to tell us here? Reveal.
I'm sure you can throw a guess out there.
I'm going to say Chinese balloons. Was that in 2024? I'm going to say that's number 10.
I think Chinese balloons was 2023.
All right, there you go.
Hey, how about drones?
Ooh, well, that's recent. It's got
That's a great-
recency bias.
Great guess. I like to, I go through all the stories. These are the top 10 stories that we covered. How's that?
Yeah.
And so
sure.
I go through our rundowns through the year and pick out what I feel
Yeah.
was an important story. And whenever the media takes a ding here and there, I always like to put that in there. So this was
sure.
the DNC and Harris sending donations ahead of sit-down interviews, which I thought was a horrendous violation of ethics, but seemed to.
It is. It was a beautiful story, and it's worthy of any top 10 list. And of course, a corollary to that I guess would be Al Sharpton. What did he do? Shakedown, charge money to MSNBC.
Half a million to get the endorsement of Sharpie.
$500,000. And he's unfazed by it.
Oprah costs 2.
I guess Tawana Brawley.
Oprah costs 2.1. Isn't that the latest figure?
Now here's
Oprah?
what I heard. And you tell me if this is true or not. That they had to charge some of these celebrities who appeared, like Oprah charged a couple of $1 million, but they had to charge, otherwise it would be looked at as a campaign donation.
If they set up an interview space, they would have to charge.
Okay.
Because you can't do services for free without reporting the cost as a in-kind donation.
Okay.
So what would be worse, an in-kind donation or an actual donation? Because it reads as a donation when you have to pay them millions. Instead of Oprah covering the cost for her team to come out and take over that place in Detroit that they set up.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Somehow we've got to construe what Trump paid to Stormy Daniels as a campaign donation, and that twisted logic. But Oprah, absolutely.
So they actually set up a studio. They actually set up a studio in Detroit.
Well, they had a studio space, and then they made it how they wanted. So they paid the union guys to set it up properly. She brought in her team to film it.
The Harbo building is still vacant, isn't it?
No, they tore it down.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
But she ditched town. It sat for years.
Yeah.
Did it sit? Which sat longer, Harpo Studios or Michael Jordan's house in Highland Park? I think that just sold too, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And Jordan's house way longer.
Yeah, Jordan's house goes back to most definitely to some extent, to a certain degree. That's my Michael Jordan impersonation. Cujo's, he once said, supposedly, it might be apocryphal, but he said Cujo's to you. And this is not around the time that The Shining or Cujo came out, wherever Cujo was in. But all right, I'm running off at the mouth. I'm still upset with myself that I didn't realize the balloons were in 2023. I mean, I ought to be able to get the year right. Okay. Do you want to go to the 9th story?
Sure.
Chris?
Let's
number 9.
Let's rattle up a number 9 here really quick. And number 9 was, oh, no guesses.
I'm
Staying on
gun
the
shy
media.
now.
Staying on the media.
Staying on the media. The number 9. Don Lemon lost his job. There we go. Had to be.
No.
Election fraud.
More.
ABC. Oh, sure. Boy, again, recency. ABC to pay $15 million to settle the Trump defamation case, which, by the way, and the beauty of that case is that it was a BS case. If any, just the tiniest legal merit, and I don't even think that. But that's the beauty of it, that he got to bully them into the settlement. So,
in your legal opinion, isn't it because they wanted to avoid discovery?
Right. Yeah.
So they wanted to pay that than to be completely embarrassed.
Well, they'd be embarrassed by how biased they are. You can imagine the texts from George Stephanopoulos.
I actually think the reason why Bruce is saying that it's a BS case is because I think he once during the podcast said that he thought that Trump was guilty of rape.
Exactly what I'm worried about. All right. Well, and they're going to go after every dime we've made. Gotta be really. I think I'm judgment proof, or at least this podcast is. So yeah, no, that's right. No, it was really not. Didn't have legal merit. Precious little, if any, but just a wonderful victory. I mean, I think that is the sea change. People will look back at that moment as the day the mainstream media died.
And speaking of precious little, that's George Stephanopoulos' Secret Service code name.
Just we should use that from now on, just like they did on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's the name of my sex tape. That would be their running gag. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Well, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. We're doing our top 10 stories of what year was this again? 2024?
2024.
I can't read Roman numerals.
And some 2023, I think.
Apparently so. Before we do that, I saw an episode of Landman last night. Are you watching it at all? Landman with Billy Bob Thornton?
I am not. You can't give me any spoiler alerts because I'm going to watch it.
Can I give you one line that's funny?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Can you hold your ears so I can tell Chris?
Okay.
Is it the one you tweeted about earlier today, Bruce?
Which
it was
think it might be.
When the waitress comes up to the table?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me the line that I tweeted.
I don't remember the line exactly, but I know it was
the line is a waitress comes up to Billy Bob Thornton and says, "We've got a special on Bud Light." And he says, "I bet you do." I mean, I love how topical that is. I mean, this is I always think these TV shows are in the can. You can come back now, Tim. Come on back. Come on back, Tim.
Okay. So Landman over.
All right. There you go. So let's go to what are we on, the 8th story?
We are on the 8th story.
8th story of 2024. Drum roll, please.
And this one did go way back. This one had to do with our esteemed universities.
The one that I went to school, the University of Qatar?
No. This was about it started at the end of 23, but it didn't have any repercussions until they were resigning and getting fired in 2024.
And the story is American elite academia is riddled with anti-Semitism, and nowhere more so than Harvard. I mean, that was great. That all happened in 2024. Do you remember the president of Harvard's name, Tim?
I do not.
Claudine Gay.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that now. For some reason.
I remember.
Yeah,
yep.
That's a great trivia question. And then the great thing about this year, of course, I may be giving away a top story coming up, but don't tell me if I have. But there was your example of DEI, right? Who knew that a few months later we'd have the greatest example of DEI, the candidacy of Kamala Harris? It was so foreshadowing. Claudine Gay. What a year this was. 2024. Sure. So, all right. I have a feeling Chris thinks, oh gosh, you just gave away the top story of the year, but we'll find out. Let's take a look at number 7.
All right, number 7. See, now this one you kind of
I know
had
what it is.
mentioned
Don
earlier.
Lemon. Don
Yes.
Lemon getting fired, right?
Don Lemon getting
Yeah.
hired, then fired all
Oh
the
my God, it is.
because we have to mention Don Lemon whenever we can.
I was kind of hoping that Don Lemon would be a running gag throughout this podcast.
I blew the wad too quick on this.
But
one.
now we've used it. Don Lemon announced his comeback, new show on X. Now, of course, then didn't he leave X at some point?
He was fired within a month after the first interview he did with Elon, and then Elon fired him right afterwards.
Yeah, I said I'm not going to pay for that show.
So is Don Lemon anywhere now? Is he on that blue one that the liberals?
Well, if you recall, he also left X as just being a participant, not even having a show. He had a big drama laden. I'm leaving. It's over. I'm not going to be on here.
Has he disappeared into a black hole like he thought one of those airplanes did a number of years ago?
Do you think it's possible that Elon asked Lemon to interview Trump and he turned down the assignment?
Wow, that's a possibility.
And Elon says, "What do you think we are, Channel 5?"
Talk
about the running gag coming back.
That's a running gag. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, Don Lemon turned down purportedly. It was reported by Robert Feeder years ago. Not one, but two assignments while he was a general assignment reporter at Channel 5. I never would have turned down an assignment. As a matter of fact, I'm seeking assignments for them. Do you know that their sportscaster job supposedly is open right now?
Wow.
It's like vacant, and I would be willing to do it after this podcast from my home closet studio every night. I wouldn't go downtown.
That is if you don't get a call from the Bears about the coaching staff. So.
Yeah, right. One of those jobs too. There's Don Lemon's number 7. Well.
I did have a 7-part B, and that was also Don Lemon's gayest wedding of all time and his velvet jackets and puppy dogs. He got married this year, if you recall.
Yes, he did. He did. How's the happy couple doing right now?
Don't have a report because he left X, so nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows.
No one's on Blue Sky to find out.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the valet that had to keep brushing the dog hair off those velvet jackets.
We won't have Don Lemon to kick around anymore. So I doubt we're going to see him resurface in 2025. Do you know what 2025 is? Is it a big anniversary? I know Tiger Woods is going to turn 50 in 2025. That's a big deal. I'm trying to think of the Bears 40th, the Super Bowl team, the Super Bowl winning team. That'll be 40 years. Any other big things happen in
50-year Nixon resignation? Am I right on that? Or
Nixon that's 50 years. That was 50 years this year.
This year? Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is 2024, not 2023. It's tough doing a year-end recap with a couple of guys who really aren't sure what year it is. But okay, all right. Chris, what are we on the number 6 right now?
Okay. Yeah, number 6.
Okay,
you can at least remember the number in the countdown. That's a
start
for your what's the memory stuff? The stuff they sell on Fox News. No, they sell the stuff for your memory.
Prevagen.
Oh yeah, Prevagen. This is a great commercial for Prevagen. I can't remember the name of the product. You need Prevagen then. There you go. Okay.
All right, jellyfish.
That's what it is.
All right, I titled this one Fannie Willis, Grey Goose Drinker but Not Deep Thinker.
Oh.
And that was Fannie Willis's rise and collapse in 2024 as, going to take down Trump. And all of a sudden she's outed as having an affair. And by year's end, thrown off.
That just happened, right?
It started in the year. Remember the testimony was like last February or so.
Right. But in the last few days, I mean, it was just the grand finale for her. It's amazing how all these cases, and I hope they're not other numbers. They might be. I mean, we could have the top 10 be 5 lawfare stories against Trump, I guess. But it's
the biggest, the funniest part about the Fannie Willis for me was when she's testifying, and they're saying you've got all this cash because she said she paid him back in cash, paid
Right.
back her, so there wasn't, so that it wasn't a, an illicit weekend.
And where did
her
she
share
keep the
had to be paid.
cash?
I don't know.
Do you know where she kept the cash? I think did she keep it under the mattress? I mean, but I think her mother told. Is that what you're going to say right now?
I don't know. No. What I was going to say was it was really funny. Under oath, they said, well, where do you get that cash? And she goes, well, like if there's a campaign expense and I pay in cash and they give me change, I put it under the mattress.
Exactly.
Which, not realizing that's illegal. You just testified to illegal taking campaign money for personal use.
Well, keep your eye on the prize, Donald Trump, Fanny. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good story. Number 6. Are we at number 5 yet?
Oh, we have time for 5. All right.
Do we? I don't have I'm not timing these.
I'm timing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How much time we got?
Number 5, because we cover
still got a couple of minutes here.
We also cover a little bit of sports and pop culture.
Okay.
This is another recent one, though. And this was about Caitlin Clark's white privilege, which I think the story was her being abused all year.
Right.
Taking every punch to the face, and then at the end of the year saying that was my fault. I'm white.
Right.
I still have to read that.
Self-immolated. I love that. I love when people do that.
I have to read that Babylon Bee headline again.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark says white privilege feels a lot like getting beat up by giant black lesbians.
Right. But she, she self-immolated like a Buddhist monk in Saigon in 71. Cha.
Yeah, but I think, well, actually, speaking of that, if you look at speaking of Saigon, if you look at her when she's saying that she has white privilege, I think she's actually blinking Morse code.
Yes, certainly. I mean, it's nice when you can alienate everybody. I mean, cannons to the left of her and cannons to the right of her. Poor Caitlin Clark. I actually had an idea because did you see? I don't know if you have an opinion or not. Apparently, Sammy Sosa, he's been welcomed back by the Cubs, and a lot of people are saying that he was wronged by Major League Baseball, the Cubs, because he and Mark McGwire put on a great show in 1998 for us. Now, my view is, but they cheated, and how do I get my summer of 98 back? But a lot of people are saying, oh, no, you benefited. Baseball benefited. Do you have a view on that at all, Tim?
Well, not only was it great baseball, it was a great ad for the pharmaceutical corporation.
There you go. It's a win-win. I knew that. So I was just thinking, first of all, I think that the people who think he did nothing wrong are the same people who understand why an insurance CEO was murdered, I guess. But if we got a new realm of baseball ethics, I propose that players be allowed to gamble on their own teams. We could even have their bets posted on the screen. And you know who should pioneer in that? The WNBA. Perfect way to take off some of the attention on Caitlin. I mean, wouldn't you you might start watching the WNBA if they posted the odds on, like what are the odds that she's going to get pile driven? Bet on that. A lot of things. It's just an idea, just a spitballing here. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And before we get back to our list of top 10 stories and maybe a few honorable mentions from what year? 2024. Those Roman numerals are so tough for me. Before we do that, did you see the Paul McCartney, I guess, was wrapping up yet another tour? Guys, he's in his 80s now. And I think he brought Ringo out. I saw a cute tweet where they were singing, he and his group were singing Hey Hey We're the Monkeys on their way to the stage. That was cute. But I understand that you think about it, how meta is that? Because the Monkeys were basically inspired by the Beatles and I mean this TV show in 1967.
I'm sure kids today don't know the difference.
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, there were some really, really good Monkey songs. Well, for example, I think Last Train to Clarksville or I'm a Believer is better than Helter Skelter, which for some reason he brought Ringo out and they did a couple of encores after the show. And one of them was Helter Skelter. I mean, unless you're going to bring out the remains of Charles Manson during the song, do you even remember how bad Helter Skelter
Probably
is?
my favorite Beatles song.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's like one of the only Beatles songs I like.
Huh? Yeah. No,
now tell me what it is you like about Helter Skelter.
It's got nice guitar work.
Yeah. It's the only one that's got a little bit of an edge to it. It's not like a Justin Timberlake pop song as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you might be on the wrong side of this one, Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, I know all the words too. Do you want me to love you? Ah! Oh man. Gee, all right. Yeah, I guess I am on the wrong side. Because I like Yesterday, mushy songs like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then
so you're more of a Paul than a John, then I'm guessing. More of a Paul guy than a John
Well,
guy.
I bet you Paul wrote Helter Skelter. I bet you he did. He wrote a lot of that stuff. You don't think Back in the USSR is better than Helter Skelter? Okay. Ukraine Girls Really Knock Me Out. I mean, would you rather
they did Yellow Submarine or something for Ringo?
Well, Yellow Submarine, I totally understand that. Yeah. I get that. You're talking to somebody who actually once said to Paul's then wife, Heather Mills, in the hallways of Channel 32, you think we've had enough of silly love songs? And she said, oh, I'm sure you wish you could write a silly love song. I mean, so yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got some cred there for not liking some of the squishy stuff.
I'll bet you wish you could ride a bicycle, Heather.
That she was there. She was like some kind of agent or spokesperson for against landmines. And she was missing a leg, but not from landmines. I mean, it was just interesting. And he wound up divorcing her. So you could say anything you want about her. Anyway, Let's go to the number 4 story in our countdown of the top 10 stories of 2024.
No guess.
Where are we? I mean, I've been so off base. Well, we've done the media. We've done the media. Don Lemon. It's not another Don Lemon story, I assume.
No, this is a two-parter.
Two-parter. I'm going to say it's the Democrats pulling the wool over our eyes over and over and over again, beginning with putting Kamala Harris up there, even though she had never gotten a vote, and ending just toward the end of the year with the Wall Street Journal story about Joe Biden being senile since practically the day he took office. Am I right about that?
Your plan is to keep guessing Kamala until she comes up. It sounds like
exactly.
Well, this one has to do with a Biden, but this is Hunter Biden being convicted and pardoned.
Yep.
Yes, Hunter Biden, and now apparently President Biden, not only is pardoned Hunter, but he's Biden all these people except for a few well-known cases on death row, which is kind of spoiled the whole thing. He just undermined the whole deal, I guess. But yeah, and I have even seen, I think my friend Andy McCarthy is saying that what Biden has done is an impeachable offense with all these pardons. That's interesting. Wouldn't it be neat if they impeached him before they removed him via the 25th Amendment? All this happening between New Year's and Inauguration Day. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, come on. You can't impeach a president in his last 2 weeks of the presidency, can you?
Well, if you don't want him to come back the next time, I guess.
What's really funny about the Hunter pardon is that it came only days after the Turkey pardon. And the internet was alive with jokes about Hunter disappointed he wasn't the Turkey pardoned.
There we go. All right, we have done we're getting down to the top 3, but we're going to hold that off till the next segment. Let's look at some honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
2024.
Let's do some pop culture ones.
Yeah.
One of our favorite, or your favorite person to mention every now and then. So that'll be the guess on this one. Who do you think?
I'm going to say Julie Bowen, probably, right? Doing IHOP commercials. Have you seen her lowering herself, doing IHOP? I mean,
Girls gotta eat.
Heather Mills should be doing those.
Exactly. End of the show. Good night, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2025.
This is about when there was the controversy at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and Paige Sporanic stepped up to challenge Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, talk about a chestnut. Oh yeah. Okay, it's not as good as IHOP, but
of course, there's any reason to show Paige in a shot.
You know what? I got to tell you something. Twitter is becoming such a sewer. I mean, it used to be that Paige was the only one that I saw on Twitter, to titter over Twitter. Now it's like every fourth or fifth tweet has a pair of tweets on it, and then the other ones are anti-Semitic, either left or right. It's such a sewer right now, and it's the marketplace of ideas. But it's getting to look more and more like a bazaar. I mean, it's my haven, but I feel like I'm sleeping under the expressway in a tent right now.
For those listening on radio, the reason why Bruce just kind of stammered there for a while is Chris put up a picture of Paige actually putting a hot dog in her mouth.
That's right.
And he lost it.
Yeah. There we go. But no, she's got cred because she can actually hit a golf ball very well. But her cups runneth over, and I've just had too much of it, too much to drink from that. So what?
How about? Another honorable mention. What was the cultural phenom that took hold for about 3 weeks and is recently back up in the news?
Yeah, the Hawk Tua girl.
Tua.
I got to be Hawk Tua. And did you see Did you see the apology that she gave? It was. I mean, do we have a copy of her apology? Because it's got to be about 15 lines of legalese. And I got to tell you, Tim, I don't think I could read the whole thing through without swallowing. Okay. All right. It's not the IHOP, but it's okay. Anyway, but she did apologize in legalese. And, you don't want to hear this girl talking in legalese. I mean, that's for athletes when they're apologizing. She's wrecking her whole image.
How much is she accused of pilfering?
It's millions.
Yeah,
it's millions. Yeah.
So that's all she's going to read from here on out. Oh, that's all you're going to hear from her.
She may as well be on The View. For all the apologies. That's all they do is apologize. All disclaimer. Now we bring on the Hawk Tua girl, and she'd like to apologize as well.
Either that, The View, or actually an Ozempic commercial.
Oh my goodness! Well, Ozempic, have you heard the latest about Ozempic? I mean, they always have disclaimers on these commercials, but I guess there are lawsuits because you can get like Ozempic face. Now your face kind of swells up. I want to believe that Ozempic works because, even though I think it's unfair because you're only supposed to take it if you're obese, and I want to think there's something wrong.
Diabetic, actually.
Yeah, I want to think there's something wrong with you and that you're sinful. I'm in favor of fat shaming, and I don't like what Ozempic's done to it. But that's the latest thing, latest litigation. Okay.
Did we talk about Jardiance? What Jardiance can cause?
What?
Did you read those disclaimers?
What?
A rare and fatal split in the perineum.
Ooh. Oh. I don't even know what that is, and it feels bad. Yeah.
Look it up.
It's that area you don't want to split in, that's for sure.
Well, then I know what it is. Okay. So, all right. Do we have any other pop culture things?
This isn't pop culture. This is back to politics. This is a woman who I hated her guts at the start of the year, and I've actually kind of grown to like her the last month or so. What do you think that is?
Tulsi Gabbard.
No, I've always loved Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
okay.
right,
This
right.
is a person who had their own theme song commission. We don't recall this. She got her own "Hail to the Chief," the fan
Joe
favorite
Biden?
lady.
Why
This
do
was-
you like Jill Biden now?
She's showing a little shade at throwing some shade at Kamala here and there. You know, views.
We're pretty sure she voted for Trump.
Right. What, was she tired of being president?
No.
She
wanted to be president.
She wanted another 4. And
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if
they would not let her. So after they threw her out, they said,
I understand it. I mean, she's got to go down, in history is she better than Edith Wilson? I mean, that's the question. For the de facto coup, or whatever you would call it, for what she did. It was a horrible, horrible thing.
Was Edith only a 1-termer too?
Wilson was a 2-term president, but I think I think he had the stroke in his second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's all right. That's a little bit of history to tide you over until we come back after these words from our non-sponsor, Bruce Wolf and Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. So we're doing our top 10. We got 3 more to go for the top stories.
3 news stories of 2024.
2024. So before we do that, let's
MMXX1V. I looked that up. I looked it up during the break.
Wow. That's really good. Hey, did you know that golf courses in the United States and the United Kingdom use more land than all renewable sources combined? So I was thinking we could solve the problem. Put the windmill on the 18th hole, and you have to make the putt through the windmill, and then you that's what you use the land for. What I love are the eco freaks who belong to country clubs. I mean, it's just, you see, and they are so well manicured, and you got all these maintenance crews working on it, and so much is utilized.
You just gave me an idea, Bruce. I think it might actually be a fun addition. These top golf things that are open all over the country.
Yeah.
Just put an actual wind turbine in the middle of one of those.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. There seems to be a lot of problems at top golf establishments. There's one in the Chicago area. I forgot which suburb it's in, what town it's in, but it seems like there's always some kind of criminal incident at one. Not like Tiger Woods' ex-wife taking a golf club and smashing his windshield. And by the way, did you see the picture of Tiger Woods, his son? They were in a tournament together over the weekend. Very cute. They finished in second place. And afterwards, Tiger's ex-wife is out there hugging them all.
Wow.
So, wow. I mean, it just shows. It's almost like the moment when Hitler shook hands with Joe Biden after the election just a couple of weeks ago. But trivia question.
Are Frank Sinatra introducing Dean Martin at the Jerry Lewis Telethon?
Of course. What? Just a trivia question here. Do you remember Tiger Woods' wife's name? Would you know that? You don't have that, right?
Nope.
Chris, any chance?
Never liked Tiger Woods. I barely watch golf, so no.
All right. Well, it's an unfair question. I'm going to throw it out. Let's go on to the next one. I think her name is Elaine Nordegren, and she used to be Jesper Parnevik's nanny. See, I know a little too much about that stuff. All right, let's go on to. Do we want to do a little more honorable mention before we get to the top 3?
Yeah, I got a good couple honorable mentions here. Let's do this story. What was the story that that took fire after the debate that Trump shared about a town
that he had a better
Ohio
golf handicap than you mean the cat story?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They're eating the pets. Trump Vance earned PolitiFact's lie of the year for claims about Haitians. The problem is, I mean, even assuming arguendo that is a lie, a myth, as I've said so many times before, myths work And you know what my favorite analogy is, or my favorite myth is, that's actually worked, because it's one that worked for the liberals, for the progressives. It was the myth of Matthew Shepard being murdered because he was gay when it was only a drug deal. That's what they think now, but it worked because myths work. So,
well, the thing was, there's an ounce of truth in it, because there are the 911 reports of people saying they're picking up the gooses and ducks by their necks and carrying them off.
Yeah.
So you take that, then he changes it to dogs and cats, which should enrage people more than, because everyone hates geese. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So he twisted enough, but they can call it a lie. But then there is some truth, since there are multiple 911 calls of people saying that there's people taking the geese from the ponds.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
I actually think the Haitians say, no, we do not eat pets. These dogs are livestock.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It reminds me of that word that Stephen Colbert, when he was funny, came up with when he had the Colbert Report, truthiness. And that's that kind of fits a whole realm of assertions nowadays.
Well, like injecting bleach.
Right. Does that really work or no? But anyway, let's go to the
I got one more for you, just because it's your favorite National Review was part of it, and it wasn't even a top 10 story of the year, but it was a blip on the radar for maybe a half a news cycle, quarter of a news cycle, and that was your buddy Rich Lowry getting in trouble there.
Rich Lowry, yeah, because Rich Lowry, he denied almost uttering the N-word. He wasn't even accused of uttering the N-word. He was accused of almost saying the N-word after making. Yeah, he wanted to say, what did he want to say? He wanted to say illegal migrants,
yes.
I believe. And he said illegal, and then went to migrants. But no way was he going to say the N-word. No reasonable person would think that he would say it, but the unreasonable people got on him. So there you go. But yeah.
All right, let's get to this.
Let's go to the top 3 stories. And the number 3 story.
Top 3, Bruce, you got a guess?
For 2024, I'm going to guess. I'm doubling down yet again. It's going to be Kamala Harris becoming the candidate for the Democratic Party, even though nobody voted for her.
And you are correct. Biden out,
yeah.
Harris in.
Yeah.
It's number 3.
Who would have predicted? Because, I think a lot of people thought that the lawfare wouldn't necessarily work for Trump, but what they wanted to do was the Democrats wanted to sucker the Republicans into getting Trump nominated, because then it would be a slam dunk for Biden to beat him. I mean, that was what the conventional wisdom said, but nobody could have predicted what happened, which I believe will be the number 2 story, right? The debate. Is that going to be the number 2 story? We'll find out.
It's all tied together. That wouldn't be.
Yeah, right. Okay, it's tied together. Yeah. But that's what happened. Nobody would have predicted that. And some people have even said that the biggest mistake that Trump made was debating Biden, because had he not debated him, when he finally did debate him in September, it would have been too late to substitute. I mean, it all worked out.
Well, Bannon had said he advised him not to debate him.
Oh, really?
Said, don't debate him that early.
Because of why?
Because he knew he would knock him out of the race. He said that there's no way they're going to keep this guy in if you destroy him. So hold off on the debate and don't do it until a later time.
It's interesting to me, because, I mean, I think that you've got this was a conspiracy of silence, and the conspiracy extends to just about everybody in the media. I mean, including, like, I would even say Peter Doocy of Fox. He was at the White House every day. Everybody supposedly noticed this, but nobody said anything about it. And I got to tell you something, Tim. It's the kind of thing I remember. The days when the buying silence supposedly ended with Harvey Weinstein. But this is, I mean, everybody's knowing about it. If you're not a crackpot conspiracy theorist, you're probably nuts, because everybody knew. And, is that the number 2 story?
No, the number 2 story is the assassination attempt and attempts on Trump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, you forgot about that already. Nobody talks about it. There's no one on that kid.
That's so when was that? July?
Yeah, we don't even know anything about that kid still. His family, no one's interviewed his family. The second guy also, all those ties to Ukraine, nothing comes up.
Did you hear the update on that second guy? Is that apparently they said that, the Secret Service saw him, and apparently one of the agents was 5 feet away from him.
Oh, really?
And fired 7 shots at him at 5 feet, at a range of 5 feet.
And missed?
And missed.
Well, that's interesting.
In her defense, I think the first 6 shots went straight down her trousers, but
another argument for Pete Hegseth is going to change all that. We're getting rid of all them broads who fire 6 times into their pants. All right, let's go to number. Are we on number 2 right now, or 1?
That was number 2. That was
number 2. And the number 1 story.
We're on number 1, but you should say Pete Hegseth is the irony of the Tammy Duckworth interview with her saying that women should serve, but she'd have her legs if she didn't serve. Yeah.
Oh my God!
The meta-ness of that. Her defending women serving, and then she's literally has no legs because. Anyway,
the number 1 story of 2024,
obvious, of course.
Yeah,
Trump winning.
Yeah. Donald Trump returns to the White House. It actually, I mean, I'm no historian, although I know Grover Cleveland was the good old number 22 and 24 president, and his wife probably considered the hottest. Am I right? Is that Frances Folsom, the hottest first lady before Melania? Yeah,
before Melania.
Yeah, well, I'd say before Michelle, but well, all right. So,
she was pretty handsome.
Frances Folsom. Right. Okay. And so Donald Trump, the good old number 45 and 47. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to predict right now. That whatever number amendment that is going to be by popular acclamation, is going to be taken away. What the exact nomenclature and Donald Trump will serve yet another term.
Oh, that one. The Roosevelt Amendment.
He will serve yet another. Exactly. So
what historians
here to debate that?
Here's actually a question.
What about Grover Cleveland?
What historians say his wife is almost as hot as Melania? She looks like she's got more Michelle stuff going on here.
Yeah, she does. She kind of looks like Sacha Baron Cohen.
Well, that was a good look in the 1880s or 90s. All right. Well, it's been a wonderful
Grover looks like Brian Doyle Murray.
And that ends our review of 2024, was it? Thank you. Thanks, Tim, Chris. Great year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to Bruce and all our listeners.
Bye-bye.
And that's the weekly wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The weekly wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.